Again, Southern Skies Dermatology, ready to take care of you as we head into another sunny season. Believe it or not, yeah, it'll be spring. We'll all be back outside getting exposed to it. I've even just down here in the better weather gotten a little too much sun out just doing walks. You sort of forget how quickly that can happen, and that's where the damage comes from. A lot of times it happens years ago in your life when we didn't. In fact, there was a generation of us that was just completely uneducated on protecting yourself against sun damage, and then over time that'll manifest itself into something very, very dangerous. Southern Skies is a practice wholly dedicated to skin cancer. This is what they do, and it's all they do. They do it day in, they do it day out, and they're really good at it. Dr. Mario is a Mohs expert, and that's the way you want to have a removal done. Mohs, I think is how they spell that. Talk to them about it. This is a micro layer process where they take out a little micro layer, check it as they go. Then they know they've gotten it all, and they can stop when they've gotten all the cancer, not take out too much tissue. That speeds up the healing, minimizes the scarring, especially on sensitive areas like the face or very visible areas. You want that to be done as delicately as possible. We need to get that done. You need to stay checked. SouthernSkiesDermatology.com. New location coming this year. Great locations already around our listening area. Y'all go see Dr. Mario and the team at SouthernSkiesDermatology.com. All right, let's get cranked up. I think what I want to do, and I see Bart over there. We'll go back to the phones because the callers did a great job last hour. But I want to reintroduce our Jawbone Jam announcement from earlier today for the late crowd that probably didn't hear it. That's our annual sort of birthday party for ourselves here at the station. This is the 10th anniversary of the station, so we wanted it to be big this year. I don't think we could have imagined when we set out to plan it for this year that it'd be this big, and guess how big it is. We got Brother Kane headlining the Jawbone Jam this year, May the 15th. Oh, and there's more. But wait, there's more. We made the announcement this morning. That's when the ticket sites went up. Now, the tickets don't go on sale till tomorrow, and you're going to want to get them early because this will sell out immediately. All of these bands bring their own crowds. We've got our crowd. We're going to have a big time on May the 15th at Iron City with Brother Kane, and in their opening act that's been traveling with them and opening for them. It's a band based out of D.C. called Stone Horses. Amazing band. They were new to me, and then after I heard their music, I was like, wait a minute, I think we've been playing some of their songs over the years. And then my friends and the locally known and regionally known band Cattle, they've also had a reunion this year like Brother Kane, and those guys are going to be part of the show too. They're going to open up. So we're going to have three incredibly professional bands, a big night, the best venue in town in Iron City, and it's the 10th anniversary of Talk 99.5. So y'all can get tickets. That's the next question for everybody at Ticketmaster. The site's up, but they've got a countdown clock on there. I think it's tomorrow at 10 a.m. when the tickets do go on sale. And the bands and the venue and all that, they're in charge of the pricing. So if you've ever been to Iron City, you know it's a standing venue. So get your tickets and squeeze in there on May the 15th. And I think those things are going to sell out so quickly. We want a big Talk 99.5 crowd, so we're encouraging our audience to get on there early tomorrow and snap up those tickets for you and your friends. And we will see y'all there for our 10th anniversary party. And we're so grateful to all the partners that got in on this with us, my friends, my really close friends in Cattle who stepped up immediately this year as they tend to do for us. Those are some of the guys that I'll play with at some of these events, but I'm staying out of the way this time. I want to sit back and be a fan and let these pros play at the Jawbone this year. And then, of course, Damon jumped right on it from Brother Kane, and he told us about Stone Horses. And, of course, Jason over at Iron City and his crew, they're just the best. I said it at the beginning of the show, the reason this works, the reason you can put three bands of this quality in the same show is because of the professionalism of Iron City. They know that the show is going to go well. When we change those bands out, the set's going to be right. The venue's going to make that happen, and they're so good at that at Iron City. So it all came together this year, and we're very excited about it. There will be merch. There will be we'll probably have commemorative T-shirts for the station if you're interested in those too, and all the band merch will be there that night. It's going to be fun. So we're excited. Today was the big announcement. You'll hear about it more and more as we roll along the next few weeks. But the main point is those tickets are on sale at 10 o'clock tomorrow, either at the Iron City website, you go to ironcity.com, or at Ticketmaster, easy enough to find from Ticketmaster. We may have also shared some links on our various social media, so you can click on that. Y'all, let's go have a party, and let's have a good time and celebrate these bands and our station after 10 long years. Some people couldn't cut it, man. They didn't make it as long as me. And who's the OGs around here, AJ? It's me and you and Richard and Val, and that's it. Everybody's new. Bird wasn't here in the beginning. I'm trying to think, going back through. We added Andrew, and we lost Murphy and plenty of great folks over the years, just moving on, and that's the way our industry is. But there's a few of us, we just been hanging in there like a hair to biscuit, man. Just hanging in there. I am sitting here as I get ready to crank back up with the phone calls, looking at 4 animals that have passed out into a coma. AJ, I don't know what it is about my melodious tone in the afternoon that bores the living snot out of these critters. I mean, I see you do it all the time. AJ will glaze over having to listen to me for 4 hours. I don't even know how he does it. AJ will just be in there like a zombie. Is like, God, he's tired of hearing it. But the 2 dogs are drool sleeping, and the cats are laying next to each other. They are all PTFO, if you know what I mean by that.
All right, but
right
look,
now.
well, you say that now, and then I'm going to hear during the break, hey.
Oh,
yeah,
you'll be yelling at them. The dog will get up and see somebody and decide they're going to bark at everything. One of them barks at stuff that moves, and the other one barks at stuff the other dog barks at. They don't even know what they're barking at, but if one starts, he's like, me too, I'm in, I got you back, I'm your wing girl, I got you, and they both fire up. They don't even know what they're barking about.
Man, you sound like we talking about my toddler. Hey, I don't even say his name no more.
Yeah,
but hey, put that down.
Stop. I speak to them in English too, like they care, but they're also recharging so they can keep me up all night. That's exactly what
That's
they're doing.
what it is.
I have it's like they know the rhythm of the show. They will sleep for 4 straight hours, listen to me yell in this microphone, and in a minute the show's over, they fire it up again. They'll start running all over the damn place, especially these terrorist cats. It's life on the road. They're down here in the Keys. They don't even appreciate it. They're like a bunch of teenagers, man. You do for them and you take care of them. They don't even care.
Don't even care.
They're like, I'm bored.
Yeah. They don't care about anything that you got planned. They just want to go be on their video game.
They just want to do their
play with their friends and and sleep all day.
That's exactly right. Well, there's that. I would pan over and try to show you them, but I've got the camera set up in a way that I can't get to them where they are. Just trust me on it. They're making me feel self-conscious that my show's boring because they're just completely passed out. Bart is on line 2. If he's still hanging in there, we'll go back to the phones tonight, 545-9950. If y'all want to get on the show this evening before we run out of time at 6. Bart, what is on your mind?
Hey, man, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. I've experienced in Drop Ball Jam. Sound like it's going to be that's going to be way cool.
Yeah.
I'm a professional singer myself. I wanted to let you know that you did have a star in the Clanton area. And when I was in high school, 4 of us, we were in a barbershop quartet. And around Valentine's, I'm from South Arkansas, town of 16,000. We would go through and do singing Valentinagrams. If that makes sense.
I got you.
And we were pretty good at it. Had a blast doing it. And I made enough and just during Valentine's that I could pay the insurance on my car for a year. My parents made the note on my truck, and I would always make enough to pay the insurance just off Valentinegrams. It was pretty cool. We had a blast doing it, and I love the folk type music that AJ puts on. I just want to throw that in there.
Well, that's very cool. That's a very romantic thing. Do people still do that? They do the singing telegrams or whatever, or does everybody just do like strippers now because we're all crass? Do they do barbershop stuff?
I was actually at my wife's grandparents lived in Mountain Brook, and we went over there one time, and they had a singogram come to their place. I just happened to be there, got to talk to the guys, and there's a very prominent group that goes around and still does the Valentines. Now
that's cool.
I used to be a first tenor, and 30 years in Marlboro Reds. I'm not a first tenor anymore, but I still like to do it, and they still do it. And I think it's a pretty cool thing. So
yeah, it is. I love that stuff.
But and again, back to AJ, the way when he comes out that folky, the folk type get down stuff I've never heard of. I find it interesting and usually try to find it.
Yeah,
what I was going to talk to you about was just ask your opinion. What did you think about Bonnie yesterday during the hearing? What did you think about her performance? I know.
Well,
on the Democratic side, she really didn't have a chance to, most of the time, not even say anything. But my opinion was she kind of got down in the weeds with them a little bit, on her out of the way comments. And also, if you had any info on the people that were there, that, said they had complained to the DOJ, made reports, and nobody had ever talked to them about being involved in the Epstein type crime, that never had a chance. The guy from Connecticut had him stand up, and said, how many of you got stuff with DOJ, et cetera, et cetera. And I was wondering who those group of people were.
Well, they've got these women that they parade around as Epstein victims, and some people have been trying to check out their stories, and some of those bios do not add up. And then what we also learned from the redacted documents is that some of these women that began, maybe they were groomed into the operation, and they later sort of graduated into recruiting and helping Epstein, which was part of the way he ran things. He used the younger young girls as bait and let the older girls recruit, and it's insidious all the way around. As far as Bondi, no, I'm not a fan of hers anyway. She's over her head. She's not been as aggressive as I would like. And I think what she did yesterday, and look, in fairness to her, these are attack setups. These Democrats are disingenuous. They're just trying to score cheap zinger points on each other. And that's not productive for the country. These hearings are never good when they're like that, and you would expect it. But other cabinet officials for Trump have faced that same kind of ridiculous questioning that those ass clowns on the other side do, and they're able to handle it. Tom, they could not lay a finger on Bessent when he's before him because he's smarter than them. He intellectually is just, they can't handle him. And the same thing with other competent people. Rubio, they got no shot at Rubio. Rubio can just spin them into a ball because he knows his subject matter. Bondi, when she started back with the pot shots and the back and forth, in my estimation, that's insecurity coming out. She allowed herself to get emotional, came back with counter cheap shots, and while it's kind of good theater and good TV, it's not, she doesn't carry herself with the stature that some of these other cabinet officials that can handle that circus atmosphere and come out looking smarter. She'd have been better if she'd have taken that approach, but that's not her. She's not, I wouldn't call her a real legal intellectual. She's a politician that came out of Florida, and she reacts like politicians react to other politicians, which is who was on the panel yesterday. So it was another dishonorable circus all the way around in that hearing.
Well, again, I agree with you. But that guy's sharp. I mean,
he's just so smart. Yeah.
Yeah, the Maxine Waters thing, that really kind of put a nail in her little fiasco. But again, I've done some research on the people that were there. Again, it's horrible. If anybody, has had anything like that done to them, they've been treated that way, they should be heard. Everything needs to be looked into. But
absolutely,
I haven't found anything about who these specific people were. And I just thought that was odd. And again, I would not put it past, and it was Chris. What's that guy from Connecticut? Was it Murphy?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Man, he's a goober. But anyway, just thought see if I could find out if you knew anything about that.
I got you. Okay,
I'm good. Into it and keep trying to find it.
I appreciate. Good call, Bart. I appreciate all that. Yeah, look, you're not going to have me sit here and defend Pam Bondi. I've been very harsh critic of hers almost from the jump. I mean, I gave her some space. It began when she pulled that Epstein stunt where she pretended to have this file full of info on the clients, but it was fake, and she faked out some social media people and used them as props and then didn't follow through. It's a typical again, she's a politician. That's her background. It's overpromise and underdeliver. Talk tough and then try to distract and move on to something else when you can't deliver. And a lot of people make whole careers doing that stuff, and she's from that mold. I think she's a good person all in all, but she doesn't have the fire that you need in that position. That position requires you don't need to be a rubber stamp for the president, but you got to have a complete deep knowledge of the law. You got to be able to inspire people around you that are very smart. she handles teams of attorneys that are experienced and veteran attorneys, and they've got to be able to respect her direction and her philosophy on these cases. And she's got to be able to listen to them, and I don't get a sense she does any of that. She spends a hell of a lot of time doing Fox News hits. I will say that. I bet she spends more time getting her makeup applied to be on television than she does reading briefs. I'd almost put money on that. That's just where we are. You need somebody that's more focused on the job at hand and not showboating or, working on the brand as they all tend to do. All right. Huey Tampon, let's talk. They got some more of those AR-12s in. Those have been a huge hit. Here's how it goes with Huey Tampon. They started as a pawn shop, but over time, Tommy and those guys got more and more into the gun trade as people would bring things in. Then they started having new lines on the counter, and then the counter got bigger. Next thing you know, as part of that operation, they've got a nice gun store within their store at the pawn shop, and it's a lot of everything. They've got hunting stuff, rifles and shotguns and all that, and then, of course, all the tactical stuff. Lots of personal carry option, and because they have a pawn license, they get a lot of nice pre-owned stuff from time to time too, which people want to jump on. And so Tommy's he's a smart business guy. When he sees deals out in the market, he will go rather than just maintain the same kind of items all the time and do a sale every now and then. Tommy will just go jump on it. He'll see a deal on a particular thing that he knows people want. For example, like these AR-12 shotguns. These are AR-style shotguns, and I'm wanting one so bad I'm not home to go buy one. And I told him, sell all the ones you got, but if you got any left, I'm interested. $279 right now, and these are some I don't know how to use it other than be crass and say these are just badass. They just are. They just are. Even if you don't ever shoot it, it'd just be cool to own it. They're made by G-Force. They're AR-12. That's the platform, 12-gauge shotguns. He's got a new tungsten gray color. They didn't get many of those this time. That's becoming popular. And they've got the desert, that sort of military desert color too. So they're on sale while they last. Y'all cleaned out the last shipment. I'm not sure how many they got, but the minute they hit the shelves and he told me about it, y'all went and bought all of them. So these will go soon as well. So there's your price. Here's your location. Brook Lane Drive, Hueytown. It's Hueytown Pawn. Y'all go see those guys. Back here in just a minute from the Keys. Danny Knowles with the Knowles Group's ready to help you with your money. If you got long-term plans, and don't we all, to one day sort of hang it up and let your money work for you, you better know how and when and how much and how you're going to get there, and that's what they're good at figuring out at the Knowles Group. It's just what they do. Danny is a lifelong friend of mine, and I always throw that in because it's more of a personal reference. I can't describe how their processes work or how their algorithms work or how they make their strategic decisions. I just know that he's got an incredible track record with his clients. For years, I've known this about Danny because I know a lot of his clients. A lot of them are from our hometown. And then, of course, that he's a straight shooter. He's just going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. They'll be straight with you and get you on track. If you'll listen to this coaching and follow the plan, your money will be there when you're ready for it, whatever day that is and whenever you decide that is. It's the Knowles Group. Y'all listen to their show on our station on Saturdays too, Understanding Your Money. A lot of times his sons are on there describing stuff. I learn stuff if I'm scrolling around the radio on the weekends and listening to those guys. They're really so sharp. It's the KnowlesGroup.com. Y'all reach out to them and get that consult, the KnowlesGroup.com. Okay, let's do a couple more calls. I see Bob. He's got a traffic update, so let's bump him to the top. Maybe something y'all need to know out there. Bob, what's going on, man?
Well, if you're headed home on 20 going east, you're in deep doo because apparently there's a wreck. There's a wreck up somewhere, either at or beyond the Leeds exit, and it's a standstill. There ain't nobody moving. It's just crawling, and the cops just finally showed up about 5 minutes ago. I can't see how far ahead it is, but there was 2 state troopers and a wrecker finally went up that way, so it's going to be jammed up for another 15 or 20 minutes at best.
All right, Bob, thanks for that heads up. I-20 East, y'all look out for that. Try to get around it if you can. And we appreciate that update, Bob. Tim is on line 4. Let's get Tim in here. What's up, Tim?
Hey, Leland. Quick question. Who's running the country, the Trump administration, or is it this James Vosburgh who is ordering these Venezuelans to be returned to the country? I don't understand why they don't do something to get this guy out of the way.
Well, the remedy for a rogue judge like that, and he's completely rogue, completely political, and he is extracurricular to the Constitution, the remedy is impeachment. But they don't have a set of Kiwis in that whole Senate to pull that off. You'll never get him impeached. These guys can't even pass a voter ID bill right now. They just can't find their courage anywhere. And that's a bold move to remove a judge that has gone rogue, and really they're usurping authority by trying to jurisdictionally pull authority in that they don't have on that level. And he's not the only one. I mean, we've got a whole sea of them. It's going to be an era we'll look back on, I believe, as where we've had more federal judges overturned than in any period of this country's history when it comes to executive suits. And everything he does gets overturned, and this will be overturned too. I have no doubt, but it does sometimes throw a kink in things, and this guy's absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely. Have I got time for one more question?
You sure do.
When in the hell are they going to repair the interstate from 459 through Pell City, Riverside, up that way? I've done lost 2 windshields
Good
and
Lord.
a big dent in my truck.
Yep.
Off of that, it's awful.
They're always working on the bridges over there, but maybe they got to get that work done first. I don't know. Meemaw raised our taxes, and Biden gave them all this money to spend on roads, and we still got trouble in some spots. So, yeah, that's a rough spot. We go that way a lot. We got family in that direction from our family, and so, yeah, it's rough through there for sure. Be careful.
All right. Have a good night, brother. Thank you.
All right, Tim. Yeah, this Boasberg guy, the big controversy for him is just not just his rulings, because we understand what he's about. How does he keep catching all these big cases? All these big cases just always wind up in his courtroom. There's your scandal. Back in a minute. That is true. That is so true. Y'all, Stockton Mortgage is ready to take your phone calls. If y'all want to reach out and start working on anything with your mortgage, do some homework with them. You don't have to start filling out stuff and going through the whole process yet. Some lenders will make you do that. You kind of do all the process first, and then they start giving you answers. Listen, let them just talk to you. Y'all ask questions, explore the options. Maybe you want to make some moves before you get too much in the middle of things, and they'll help you with that. They've got lots of tools to help you target in on your credit score and get all that like you want it, and then apply for the loans that apply to your project, whatever it is you're doing. All I know is you can reach out to them on a website that they set up just for this audience, savewithstockton.com, savewithstockton.com, and they will absolutely take care of you and yours. Savewithstockton.com. Y'all reach out to them tonight and call Thomas and the team and let them go to work for you. Okay, we got to go back to the Guthrie case. Not a big break, but there's some interesting stuff getting floated around. The FBI just put a picture of a backpack, and this is interesting because it seems reasonable. We've had that other video of another prowler floating around, and to me, in my judgment, it doesn't look like the same person at all, but we'll let the Fed sort that out. But they just put out a picture of what they believe is the backpack that was being worn by that mysterious creepy character that was on that night vision camera release that we got yesterday. Let me see if I can describe what they're saying here. By the way, this is a Walmart. If you're familiar with Walmart, and who isn't in this audience, they've got a store brand called Ozark Trail. And I actually have a couple of things from there. I bought an old Ozark Trail backpack, 20 years ago. That thing's still holding up. I got big, nice ones for the bigger hikes, but the thing's very durable. And they said the one he had on there, they've narrowed it down to the type backpack and the color. And it's just a very basic, inexpensive hiker pack. I think it's 25 liters, the way they measure those. Yeah, it says here on the tag. So they put out a photo of the backpack and with the reflective straps and all that. Now, I don't know if this character just went and bought all this stuff, the gloves. Did he just go snag a backpack and buy a ski mask, or is this something that he would have personally owned in his life and somebody would recognize this backpack? But they have put out a picture of that, and that's a little more conclusive than anything we've seen today in terms of something specific that we or whoever's in the area can be looking for. So here's the statement that they put out. By the way, this is the only real advancement, if any, on this story all afternoon, is just this backpack lead. Here we go. Today, the FBI is increasing its reward to $100,000 for information leading to the location of Nancy Guthrie and or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. New identifying details about the suspect of the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie have been confirmed after a forensic analysis of the doorbell camera footage by the FBI's Operational Technology Division. The suspect, and here's some more detail here, this is good stuff, is described as a male, approximately 5'9" or 5'10", with an average build, and in the video, he is wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack. We hope this updated description will help concentrate the public's tips that we're receiving. Since February the 1st, the FBI has collected over 13,000 tips from the public related to this case. Every tip is reviewed for credibility, relevance, and information that can be acted upon by law enforcement. Threat intake examiners at the National Threat Operations Center and the FBI personnel are supporting a 24-hour command post, which dozens of agents and investigators are assigned leads and tips to action each shift. That's amazing manpower for an abduction case of one person that's missing. I'll have some more to say about that here in just a minute. Media outlets should direct tips they receive to the FBI. Additionally, we do not comment on tips or information we receive regarding an ongoing investigation. Continue to submit tips to the FBI, and then they've got the 800 number, 800 call FBI or tipsfbi.gov. And they said to help us bring Nancy home is the final part of that statement. So that's more than we've had definitively on something that they'll confirm is part of the case. So we're getting a sequence now that's a little more methodological, if that's a correct way to put it, from the FBI over, again, the video of the suspect and now this particular item that he was carrying. I would suspect soon they're going to have probably some info on that gun or that perceived gun that was in that weird holster strapped to his front groin area, which is so bizarre. Again, there's some so-called experts that call that a Mexican carry. It's just we talked about this the other day, sort of a machismo way of carrying your gun around and showing it off. And maybe he was doing it that way or just for show to have it holstered like that. And it was pretty obvious to anybody that understands guns that was that gun and that holster didn't go together. It looks like it was just kind of put together. The whole thing was put together that way, which is why I continue to think that video, and I could easily be dispelled from this belief because everything else in this case has done that to me. Every time I think I've got a theory, something sort of changes it. But that didn't look like a real prowler to me at all. That looked like somebody trying to look creepy on camera on purpose. It looked like part of some stagecraft. And by extrapolating that theory, it would be that some harm may have already befallen Mrs. Guthrie before that shot, and this person was acting it out to create a sense of a kidnapping. It's just so neat. A blood trail, a low splatter blood trail, then a guy creeping on the camera that knew there was a camera there. All that's weird. It's all been weird. And, one of the phrases we hear a lot on this case, and I just got to knock this down for a second, this phrase that something just doesn't seem right. You hear people say that, they're all over social media going, something seems off. Hell yeah, something's off. An 84-year-old woman got snatched out of her house in the middle of the night. Nothing about that's right. So nothing's going to make sense. And with my own limited experience covering crime news for a good portion of my life, you can't rationalize what criminals do in your mind. We all have an instinct to want to do that. And I do it too. I've done it on the radio quite a bit the last 2 weeks where you're like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't seem logical. In a moment of passion, or if your heart has descended into a dark place where you are with premeditation, staking out, hurting or assaulting or stealing from somebody, none of that's rational. You're thinking like not like a human being. Maybe you're just being an opportunist in a moment and you're overtaken by the shot of an opportunity to grab something. Well, some of those moves and things you do and make in those instances are not going to make sense to us in the real world. Not in your approach, what you did to the other person, or how you escape or cover it up. All of that stuff is the human mind that's just gone crazy. And so, we all have to back off a little bit and try to understand that there'll be things about this case. If we ever get answers, if we ever decide if this woman's alive, is she going to be brought home alive, or has she been dead this whole time? Once we get answers to stuff like that, there are going to be components of it that are probably so simple in the explanation, you're going to go, oh, okay, well, then that makes sense. It was just that dumb. It was just that evil or that mean or depraved, rather than some crime genius that's pulling off the ruse of a lifetime over the entire FBI. The truth, though, is with that kind of manpower, and this is what I wanted to reference, if they're putting that many resources on this case and they still are having to increase the reward and they're putting out these breadcrumbs of tips to the public, they don't have much. I really don't think this is one of those cases where we're just being deceived while they close in on a suspect. I don't think they have a suspect at all. It just, their body language and the way they're approaching this doesn't feel that way. And that's tragic in and of itself. I think they will. It's an incredible agency. They're very smart. They know what they're doing. They'll get their man, or it could be more than one person, of course. And we're going to have to give them space to do that. But that's bizarre. And then, of course, there's going to be questioning of the government using that many resources for this one person. There are people that tragically have missing persons in their lives all the time. We'll have several dozen cases right around Birmingham through the course of this year. And some folks don't get that kind of treatment. They don't get that kind of manpower. They don't get the whole FBI on the case. But this case has risen to another level. And yes, it's because it's just true though. It involves an elite person in the media. It's gotten the attention of the president. It's high profile and gotten the attention of the country. So yeah, it's going to get a lot more resources than if your Meemaw was missing. It's just true. And it's probably not fair, but that's just where we are in this world right now. Ann is in Columbiana about this same case. We'll take Ann's phone call. What do you have, Ann?
I'm so glad you said that, because I have said this from the get-go. That is somebody did something to this woman when she got home, whether it was the person who dropped her off or there maybe somebody was already in her house. This was something, everything from the beginning did not sound right to me. It just feels like this was done by somebody she knew. Either she let them in or they were already in that house. That letter that was sent to the TMZ, that in itself was a setup. I just don't understand how they put all these resources into this woman. And I feel so bad for her, because, I mean, I hope she's alive, but I'm telling you, everything in me is telling me that woman is not.
Well, it sounds grave, and you don't want to be that pessimistic. And if I'm Savannah Guthrie, I'm not going to believe that. But what to me seems more like what could have easily been the sequence. At 84, it would not have been hard for something violent to overcome her very quickly and take her life. And then if there's a cover-up to make it look like somebody else did it, some of these things are going to get played out this way. It's part of a misdirection. And I don't know about the TMZ letters. I'm starting to think that is all hoaxes and not really even directed to the case. But every day it goes by, it feels less like a kidnapping and more like a cover-up. So
100%. I'm so glad you said. Everybody else has been dancing around that and not actually came out and said it. You're the first person that I've actually heard come out and actually say, "Hey, I really feel like this is a hoax." Not necessarily that a hoax that something didn't happen to her, because I feel like something did. It's just what was it and who did it. Basically. Hopefully they find her alive is all I hope for.
Exactly. Good call. Look, and it's hard to say those things when you don't know. Thanks, Ann. And you don't want to be that kind of person that's talking about the gravest of circumstances. But if you're just going with your gut and saying what you're thinking in the moment, and again, I'm not dug in on any of these theories. You could change my mind tonight, because this has been one of the more bizarre things. Y'all, I've been deeply involved in working with the police on investigating deaths and murders. I was deeply involved in reporting on these things. And there have been many times in my young career I was exposed to evidence the public didn't know and I wasn't allowed to share in my television reports, but the cops needed me on background to understand this so I'd understand how they were pursuing a case. In exchange for them giving me a little bit of information, I would continue to follow the case. And then sometimes when they got a break, I got the scoop. That's how it works in reporting. You build those relationships, you build trust. They'll let you on the inside of that sometimes and show you what they know. There were times I was allowed into a crime scene. There was a time that they wanted the story to be told, but they also had ethical and even prosecutorial guidelines they had to watch and not get too engaged. So there's some media type, I'm sure, around that area that have those same relationships that may know more than they can say. Today, we're so tempted to hint at it, and that's where I'm frustrated, particularly with TMZ. I think they're overly intruding on this now. I believe they're playing a part in misdirecting the public. Some of these things that are coming at them are not, they don't seem legit, but they're publishing it anyway. And I'm not sure how much vetting and or, quote, permission they're getting from the feds, who are just neck deep in trying to solve this with all those resources. And then here comes TMZ getting clicks and hits and TV hits, and that's fine. That's their business. But if it's not legit, it's noise and it's distraction and it's false hope, and it can't be helping the authorities. Now, I could also back off that and say, well, maybe they did. Maybe they first turned it over to the feds, hold off on putting the next note out until they can decide whether it's legit or not. But if we go with that, then from the beginning, that first ransom note wasn't legit. It was a ruse of some type, either by the killer that wanted to put that ruse out there along with the staged evidence around the house. Theory, just a theory. Or by somebody completely unrelated that either wanted to cash in or get some attention for themselves, which is completely plausible in today's day and age. Blakely's Bouquets, man, y'all have just got a couple of days to get your flower order in. And I'll tell you, if you do it at Blakely's, they'll get it there, and they'll get it there correctly and beautifully. But at some point, they're going to have to cut those orders off. And I'll even check in with them tomorrow and see if they're still able to get anything else out. Fellas, don't wait too late. Get those orders in tonight. Get online. And if for some reason they have to cut it off, they can let you know online and reach out to them and get those things done. You don't want to mess up with that. You don't want to be standing around in the grocery store getting the picked over flowers that are left. She doesn't want a carnation. You're going to wind up with a purple carnation, and she's going to look at you like you smoking weed. She's like, did you just get fired from the waterworks? I'm kidding. That was from an earlier story. Y'all, Blake Lee's Bouquets, BlakeLees, Blake and Lee, two names. You put those together, BlakeLeesBouquets.com, BlakeLeesBouquets.com. Back in a minute, Leland Live. It's 4:55. We're just about to do that right now. I guess I'm already home wherever I am right now in this mobile command unit. I'm already home. Storm Restoration Roofing bringing you the show tonight. If you may not have a roofing issue right now, but they come up sometimes out of nowhere, especially with the approaching storm season. Yeah, with the beautiful spring, we're going to get those spring storms in March and April like we always do. So have this number somewhere where you can get to it just in case you have that kind of roof issue. The unexpected emergency kind, that's when you don't need to be trusting these folks that'll just show up. They got, you got these trolls. I say it all the time. I respect the hustle, but they'll just start trolling through neighborhoods trying to get work after a storm. You don't know who they are. People will give them half the money up front just to get dried out, and then you never see them again. Look, just write this number down. Keep it for emergencies. It's Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531. Greg was a solid guy. He's in his third decade, almost 30 full years of roofing. His whole family's involved. He's based out of Pell City. He knows all the adjusters, what they require. In fact, if you do have a claim, make sure you call him first. Get him up there to document and substantiate everything that's going on. Because if they can turn you down, I mean, if there's a nuance in your policy or something that doesn't qualify, you may not get that issue covered. And you want to be able to do that. So, and he knows what's proper, what's appropriate to claim, what's not. He'll keep you from chasing your tail over stuff that can't be covered by insurance. So it's good to have your own expert, and that's Greg. Again, they do the low-pressure roof stuff. And by the way, the finance company they can help you finance those high deductibles, can also do an entire project. If it's not an insurance claim and you just need a new roof, he's got companies that'll finance roof projects and get that done for you too, so you're not coming out of pocket. Look into that. It's Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531. Well, we spent most of the show not even talking about the Guthrie case, and then we get this thing from the FBI tonight that has set forth a new wave of speculation and information. But it does seem more straightforward and more legit. Now we've got what we had hoped to get in the beginning of this case, which is a real video of somebody that's clearly a real suspect, and now we've got detailed description of some of the paraphernalia and even the description of the person themselves describing this between 5'9" and 5'10". Now what's amazing is the technology they used to figure that out from a video. I listened to a guy, former FBI guy, talk about that. They can literally go to that portico, measure the bricks, measure the height of the bricks, count the bricks to where they see the statue, figure out whether he's standing up or not, and they can estimate shoe size, height, almost down to weight, even though that guy was layered up. So this description is probably going to be pretty close, and that will help narrow things down in that it will weed people out. If somebody has a suspicious person in their life or seen that backpack, I bet that backpack's out there next to a cactus in the middle of nowhere somewhere by now. Y'all, Birmingham Broker, one last sponsor, and then we got to get out of here. BHAMBroker.com. Y'all, that's Craig and Keith. They need cars. They've got buyers everywhere. If you want to sell right now, maximum opportunity with buyers looking for used and pre-owned cars everywhere. Maybe yours is the one. Craig and Keith will broker that deal. They will transact the deal. They will find that buyer, haggle for the price, do the paperwork, and get you a check. It's that simple. And it makes sense. That's the math on it. That's how you need to do it. BHAMBroker.com. BHAMBroker.com. Nightfall down here in the Keys. I'm about to go have a chillaxed evening. Yeah, I used a 90s word. Don't even hate, AJ. I said chillaxed. I did.
Hey, nothing wrong with that at all.
Breaking Bread coming up with AJ and the gang. Y'all stay tuned.
We out at 5,000. Goodbye, AJ.